Hello and welcome. I have actually a man here with me today, Alex Cormont. He's the #1 relationship expert in France and in Europe. By the way, he's also coached more than 50,000 individuals and 1.7 million of followers on YouTube and Facebook. So welcome, Alex.
Thank you so much, Antia. And I want to say hi to everyone that is watching this video.
I'm so excited for you to be here, Alex. You're a wealth of wisdom, because today we are going to talk about something that can be painful, which is how to understand why is a man pulling away?
That's a very good question. Tricky question, by the way.
Yeah, let's talk about it. But before we talk about this, tell us a little bit about how did you get into this space?
You know, it's funny because when I first started in 2007, so basically I have a master in human sciences, I have an NLP training, coaching training, and I decided in 2007 to become a coach, and I was only coaching men. So my goal was just to be dedicated to men and to help them be more confident and to love themselves and also to attract the right partner. And the funny story is in 2009, so 2 years later, 2 years after, a woman sent me an email and asked me if I can give her advice. And I was scared in the beginning. So I hesitated a little bit and I told myself, let's do it. It will be a new challenge. And I love it so much because women are able to change. They're able to, take your advice into consideration, where with men, there is a lot of ego, basically. So I started being a relationship expert in France, created a YouTube channel. I'm like over 1.7 million international with all of my YouTube channel. And so, yeah, I came into this space because I wanted to share a message that we need to be ourselves when it comes to love. Love is not about what you will give to someone, it is what you will be. So you can just trust yourself and trust your personality. I love to say that I've coached more than, I would say, 50, 60,000 women from all over the world. And I see this pattern of this question, but Alex, I cannot understand this guy. Why is he pulling away when before he was always sharing his love, he was texting me, calling me, he was the one that introduced me to his family, and now he said that he is not sure about his feelings. So this just question happened every day. Every day I hear this sentence, and I decided that it could be a good topic to discuss together. But I love what we are doing because I feel that it's empower women and sometimes men also to just be truly themselves in love and to avoid toxic relationship. I found that there's a lot of toxic relationship in today's world. So we need to understand our behavior to make the right decision.
So much so, yes. So I'd love to hear a little bit about this, right? Because what I feel is when women say that, why is a man pulling away? And I'm sure a man gets more this question because they think probably the man has the answer, right? Like, the male psychology, you practice the male brain, right? What do you feel like? What are some of the first sort of assumptions, right? Or preconceived notions that those women have when the man starts to pull away? Everything went well for a few weeks or maybe even a few months, but out of the sudden, it's, I don't want to say crickets, but pretty close to that.
Exactly. So what happened most of the time is they don't understand the situation. So ladies, if you are watching this video and the man is pulling away, you are not understanding, so you will try to understand and find the answer, basically. So you will use the left side of your brain. We will be rational and we will just try to look at, okay, he didn't say anything about me. If say that he loves me or he likes me, it's not my fault. So why is he pulling away? And the thing is, men also, we are emotional, right? It's not only rational. It could be also the right side where we are in the emotions. And something that I discovered because I didn't understand it when I first being a coach, when I first started, it's like men, maybe more than women, we are a lot attracted by the challenge. So we love to fight for you. And I know that it's like scientific proof that men are hunters, that we need to chase you. So first of all, when we meet a woman, we will tell ourselves, we can't, it's like, it's not possible to get her. So it's a huge challenge. And after a couple of weeks, when we realized that we would enter a relationship, then we would just project ourselves with our brain. We would just visualize what happened in the past, meaning breakup, we lose our freedom, we cannot see our friends, we are having a lot of arguments, we don't see the positive things. So this is why a man will pull away. He will pull away for two reasons mainly. The first one is maybe there is not this attraction, the butterfly in the stomachs are gone. And the other reason is the projection that he will realize unconsciously. He will always think about the bad events, the bad memories that he will have in his mind when it comes to love. And this is why I love to say it's not your fault, ladies, what is happening. But if you try to rationalize, if you try to discuss with him, if you try to understand, if you try to ask questions, most of the time, you will never receive what you want. So you will continue to suffer and you will continue to be a little bit needy. So you will just be too much after him. So yeah, if I have to respond to this question, women have a lot of questions in their mind that doesn't have the answers, at least not with the education that we receive. We receive the education in love that, as I said, we need to give, we need to love, we need to understand each other. Sometimes it's good to let the guy figure it out what he has in his mind and just be distant, because that can help making him come back to you.
I love that. You know, I love that you stretch that, because what happens so often is when we notice, especially for the hyper alert women, that there's just the slightest nuance, the slightest, he didn't send a smiley with the text message, or he just calls me one time and not three times, right? That when that woman then becomes anxious, right? And that's actually then where she puts actually more energy on him, like more demands on him. But he is dealing with his own fears of the future, the projection, what happened in the past. He's trying to navigate it. Do I get that right? And then she comes in and pushes more, right? It's like, give me all the answers. I want to know it now. And what's wrong? And all they want to do is, I just need to empty out. Like, I need to understand myself. Like, I don't need like more anxiety pushed onto me right now.
Yes, you know, it's funny because when I came to the US, I heard this expression and I learned about it. It's like man cave. So sometimes men needs to be aware and figure it out what they have in their mind. It's not always a bad situation when the man is pulling away. We can pull away also before to make a big decision, ask you to move together, ask you to get married, ask you to have kids, or at least figure it out. So I feel as a man and coaching men that sometimes we need our time for ourselves. So it's not always negative. The problem is when we don't understand something, men or women, we are focusing on this situation. And so the problem will become bigger and bigger and bigger. When a man is pulling away, the best behavior is to yourself pull away. So he can start to miss you. He can start to ask himself, whoa, she's not chasing me. What is happening here? Because maybe he took you for granted. This is what happened. I would say most of the time, men will pull away. Men will just say, oh, I don't have time. They will not give you interest because they just got you and they are not giving you any value. Just by being distant, you're regaining a little bit of control. I don't want you to play the game. I am not for the game. I am not for like playing child game or whatever, but it's very important to understand human behavior. I would say that today more than ever, we value what we don't have. This society of consummation is so important that we value what we don't have. So if you come too needy or at least too nice for someone, it can become a problem.
And also, in addition to like valuing what you can't have, it's also, I feel men are actually much more sensitive than we give them credit for. So they also feel like she can't always be that nice. There's no way. There must be times where she doesn't agree And that's just normal that she shouldn't agree. She shouldn't put up with that, rude behavior that I just put to the forefront, right?
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to feel this sensitivity in a man, and also to let him figure it out what he has in his mind. Because as I said, I feel that men will always want to look at the bad things. We always think about the bad situation in our past. And when we realize that you're special, then we come to you, then we want to just talk to you and maybe also be more commit to the relationship.
No, if you think about how can I maybe even do something ahead of time? So if I know, let's say I listened to Alex Cormont's YouTube channel for a while, so I learned, okay, this is what the men do. Now I'm thinking, hold on, maybe I can even do something from the first date on, like from the first conversation on, that maybe he doesn't even get into this place where he thinks about the negative future, or that he feels trapped, right? Or he's going to get manipulated into something that he doesn't want to do. Like, is there anything that a woman can do that the man, maybe portrays less negativity into the future?
That's a very good question. That's a very, very, very good question. And I want to know what you think. But in my coaching, I realized that a man will not think about the negativity, will not think about the breakup, his past relationship, when he's thinking, how can I get her? How can I attract her? Because we put our attention on surprising you, ladies, trying to make sure that we have a good relationship, trying to make sure that we please you. So when we are in this phase that will last sometimes a couple of weeks, couple of months, we don't think about the negativity. We will think about it when we start being in a relationship. And I know in the US, there is this process of we date and then we ask you to be in a relationship. That's where the men will just start feeling so much pressure, because now it's not just the dating or the attraction part. No, it's really becoming serious. So my advice to the women I coach is to make the attraction last as long as possible. So this guy will not think about the problem, will not visualize negativity. He will only ask himself, okay, what t-shirt should I wear? Where should I take her? I want to surprise her. I want to be different. I want to make sure that she will enjoy the moment. When we think like this, we are not thinking about the problem. But I want to know what you feel, Antia. Do you feel like this is a good answer?
Oh, that's not an answer that I expected, but it makes a lot of sense, because he's more focused on there's like this idea of like taking her for granted. So she's not, it's almost like when she stops treating herself like a queen, right?
Yes,
like
exactly. Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Then I get it, because it's like almost like, and again, I do feel there's something underlying where the man is thinking, if she kind of like dropped off here, like where else is this going to happen in the future? So they pick up on some sort of inconsistency, and that's where sort of like it's like a snowball rolls down the hill, right? And the other piece also is like this ability to be in the unknown. So when you talk about this attraction, I'm asking myself, so what does that mean, attraction, right? Like this tension. It's like being in uncertainty, right? It's kind of like, maybe you can come over tonight. I don't know. Right? It's like, woo, all right. I'm not thinking about the future right now, not the negative one.
Yes, this is being flirty. This is exactly what I wanted to say. Most of the time when we are in this game, so not in a bad sense, like just being playful, flirty, men cannot think about the negativity. They cannot imagine or visualize negativity or think about their past relationship too.
Yeah. What I hear also, what you're sharing, Alex, is this idea of expectation. So it's almost like there's like less expectation. It's a little bit like less attachment, because when I flirt, there's not really an expectation. It's just light. It's fun. It's like, I'm not attached to how you're reacting. As a matter of fact, that's the exciting part. I don't know how you're going to react, and you don't know how I am going to react, right? So What do you say about that piece around this whole conversation that a lot of women have. Ladies, you know it, expectation, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I like the fact that you will use different words because, as you know, I'm French and sometimes it's difficult for me to pick the right words. But what you say is very important. And it just reminds me something with the ladies I coach. Sometimes they look at every detail. You know, as you said, there is smiley, no smiley. He said kiss, he said do something different. And you're like a little bit shaking with every small detail, where I want you to always take it easy. Don't expect or attach too much importance in every small detail, because that's where we start to lose ourselves, put pressure on someone, even if we don't want. This is how a man can feel, you know? So don't let your expectation win over the moment, the present moment, basically.
And also what you just shared, it's really sort of like, so in an animal world, right? Like the gazelles, they run away because they feel the energy of the lion first, zooming in. And I feel like there's something that when a woman zooms in on those details, it's threatening to a man, because what we're remembering from an evolutionary standpoint is last time when somebody zooms in, I'm about to be eaten. I'm about to be, you know, it's not good news. You know what I mean? It's death potentially, right? So what I would feel, what you just shared, is actually then it puts a man almost into a fight or flight.
It is. It is. It should be unconscious, you know, it should be something that we are not focusing too much on it, because I don't want you to lose yourself. But if you put the man in this position, I fear that he will never pull away. He will really do the work to get to know you, and not just your body, your physical appearance, but just really your personality. Yes.
And Alex, do you have, you know, I always like to share an example for the women so they can find themselves. Do you have an example of somebody that you worked with successfully who was able to shift that like out of the sudden men were losing interest in her, but then out of the sudden it shifted? Or, you know, I'm sure you get like stories emailed to you all the time from women.
Yeah, so basically, you know, there is different situation that I have in mind. The first one is like the rule number one is I ask the ladies I coach to not do the first step. And by first step, I ask them to not call, send a text message, ask to go out, because most of the time in this situation, they have so much emotions that they want to share. They want to talk, they want to send a text message. But what happens if we forget about me? I say, no, let's take our time, let's figure it out. Let's never do the first step anymore. And you will see that in a couple of days, the guy will come back. And when he comes back, he has so much confidence, because in his mind, he's taking you for granted. Oh, he just figured out what was the problem and he wants to share it with you. He wants to see you. And in this specific moment, I always ask the ladies I coach to say no. So if he wants to see you, to go to dinner, to get a drink or whatever, you say no. Because we want to challenge him and we want him to rethink what he has in his mind. So basically, when a man is pulling away, most of the time, it's because he's taking you for granted. And if we want to avoid this situation, we need to say no. And I just did a survey with like thousands of women in France and asked them, have you ever said no to a man that is asking you to go out when you like him? And the answer was, no, I never say no. And my goal is to help you be different. So let's try to say no. So you don't do the first step. When it comes to you, you say no. These are two rules that can change the situation. Two rules that will make a man realize that he is maybe not having the control as he was thinking. So I want you to try this. And if it was not the problem that he didn't take you for granted, but it was just overwhelmed with work, or I don't know, whatever can happen, it just have to, the fear also maybe to commit to you. Just by talking to you, you will see the difference, because he will say, you know what, I'm sorry, I was working late and I didn't have the time, but I would like to take you out. That's okay. That's okay, because he was just figuring out things on his own. But if he took you for granted, don't do the first step. at least 2 to 3 weeks. And when he comes back, you should say no. And you can tell him, I'm not interested in this. Maybe you can find something different or something better because this is not so fun. You try to challenge him, which is very important.
Oh, so you're saying, oh, dinner? Really? That's all you got?
Exactly. That's all you got? Just in this flirty way, just to say, no, I deserve more. And you let him think. Because some of the ladies I coach, I said, Alex, no, I want to do this activity specifically. And I found it that sometimes it's too easy for the man to say yes. We want him to challenge himself, right?
Oh.
It's better to not give him the answer or the solution.
So it's kind of like saying, like, you figure it out, right? You're the problem
solver. Exactly. Yeah. That's how we want to challenge him.
Go ahead.
So yeah, that's basically just how we want to challenge him. And that's, I find it's very tricky as an exercise because it's just so counterintuitive. Nobody wants to do it. Even me, when I talk to you about this, I'm feeling like, wow, this is difficult. But by doing something different, you will be able to change the pattern in love and maybe to find different solution to get the attraction back with this guy, right? Absolutely. Because I love the sentence from the quote from Einstein saying like, foolishness is doing the same thing and waiting for different results. So when I coach people, I like to give them some different behavior actions to try it. You will try it. If you like it, you can continue. If you don't like it, if it doesn't work, you can change it and personalize to your personal situation. But I would say that in 90% of some cases, the people I coach, the women I coach, you will see a big difference. When a man hears no, it changes, like it starts immediately. It will never take you for granted, which is very important.
I agree with that. I have definitely experiences when I was dating 10 years ago, and I told a guy on a Sunday when he invited me on his sailboat, a man I was interested in, no. This guy continued to pursue me, call me, leave me voicemails. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do, Alex. I'm like, really? Another message?
That's difficult. It can make them so crazy, so they will just chase you and chase you and chase you years after years. Just because you become a challenge, that's a little bit sad, to be honest.
Totally. So I know we're getting towards the end of the interview, Alex, and I know you have a free gift for the ladies. So
yes.
What can they look forward to if they feel like, yes, I want to learn so much more from Alex?
So basically I have two gifts. The number one gift is something very special for me because it's a bestseller in France. It's an ebook called The Truth About Love. And it was really like an ebook for every person, let's say women, because this is the summit. So for every women that are just annoying by this situation of I give, I don't receive, I want to be in a relationship, but it doesn't want to commit. So there is reasons and patterns. So I want to offer you this gift, these books that can just change your life. And I also attach another ebook where I share with you some messages and challenges that you can have with a man. So I hope it will help you just regain interest from him, but also for you to regain self-confidence, to make sure that you can be truly yourself in a relationship. And sometimes it means putting a little bit of weight to keep his interest. So that's my gift for you, ladies.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex. Like, really amazing. Ladies, the link for that is right below this video. Alex, any last sort of like anecdotes, reminders for the women that are out there and just, constantly not having that luck that they wish they had?
Of course. I feel that the last thing I want to say is the solution is always in the action that you're not doing today. So don't be afraid to test. And I want to say this because the main difference between men and women that I coach, women, they are always looking for one man. When they contact me, it's like, I want this guy, not another one. Men, they want to learn how to attract ladies, how to be more confident, how to be more charismatic. So ladies, if a man is pulling away, just tell yourself that he will be your training partner. You will train with him different solutions to make him comes back and give you value. You should not be afraid to do different actions because that's the one that will give you results. I can guarantee you.
So lean into experimentation, ladies. Lean into exploration, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm so happy to have you with me so you can just translate what I'm saying in different words. It's helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Like, no, it's just a reflection, you know, like I'm sure the ladies love every word out of your mouth, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us today and honoring us with your presence. And for the ladies, I will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.